Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm James, my pronouns are they and them.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
I'm Alasdair, my pronouns are he and him.
We're getting better at this.
We're not. No, you're getting better at it. We all know what to do.
Fuck you. There's improvement going on.
You don't. No, I'm not giving you plaudits for it. No.
You should. I'm adorable. I'm a delight.
No.
Yeah, I am. Fuck you.
Fuck. So you get one fucking week after the notes and you think you're God's gift.
I am.
Well, shut the fuck up and let us get through the fucking notes that me and Alasdair painstakingly put together without any assistance from you.
Oh, boo-hoo, widow boy. Did you have to do some notes?
Yeah, we fucking did. Alasdair, do you want to kick us off with the news?
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard, but there's globular heat madness at the moment, and over recent weeks, it has been very hot, one might say.
Yes.
I've heard, yeah.
But not here. It has in fact been quite wet, and this is still cause for concern. I hope you'll agree. We've got this is like the third heat wave that most of the rest of the world is going through at this point. So in Europe, we're seeing temperatures up to 46 degrees in Portugal. The rest of the Iberian Peninsula is like 40 plus wildfires. The BBC has an incredible headline in one of their articles about the heat, titled "Heat waves could change summer holidays forever." I was like, cool. Thanks, BBC.
Oh my god.
Well, then my concerns are done.
Would you like to holiday to the plains of glass? Well, have we got a deal for you?
But the thing is, like in this like sub article that was in the original article I was looking at, it basically says Britons are still going on holiday as much as they ever were. So clearly,
that's all that matters.
Yeah, we are a nation of masochists who, for some reason, see 40-degree temperatures as a great opportunity to sunbathe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of like literalisms about walking towards the light, but in this case, it seems, you know, just not a generally good idea.
What are you, gay? Like, it's only heat.
Yeah, it's just heat. Take your top off. Job done.
Yeah.
There's been some pretty good articles in like the New York Post, etc., about how to adjust to the heat. So I presume it'll all be fine.
I've seen that.
Oh, what am I
not
supposed
turn
to
on
do?
an air conditioning unit.
Treating myself like a fucking medieval paranoid king by going out in the heat in small increments to build up immunity to it.
It's not even like the sad thing is it's not even a joke. That literally is the content of the article, and we already started air conditioning shaming, and like the principle's dead simple. It's like, oh, if everyone turns on air conditioning units at once, when the electricity grid goes down and the rich don't get any, so what we need to do is shame the poor, so that they don't use the air conditioning units and they just like learn to live with the heat, so the rest of us can turn our AC on. It's just fucking garbage.
Who are these people that have air conditioning units like?
I know.
Have
we considered giving everyone an air conditioning unit and then everyone turns it on at the same time and then we just do a lottery to see whether or not we can take out some rich cunts with that gambit?
Russian roulette, but with a brownout.
I'm looking forward to the Tracer Tong future being initiated by everyone switching on their AC at the same time. That'd be great.
Which one was that again?
That's for bring down all modern society and kill the internet.
Oh, the one where you get eaten by some kind of orange shape.
Let's not also forget that there was that article. I don't know when exactly it was, but I think it was quite recently, which was critical of renewable energy, solar in particular, because it causes energy prices to dip so low, sometimes so low as to go negative.
Yeah, it's right. I can't take this anymore. We've solved energy, like as a conceptual thing. We've solved energy in terms of production and in terms of transportation. Storage we're still working on, but if we wanted to, if the human race actually had the will politically to do it, we could set up a global grid for electricity based on renewals and on long-term stuff like thorium, And
look,
we
James,
would be
I'm just gonna stop you there because that is idealistic drivel. Because what we need to do is we need to be issuing more licenses to drill oil and gas, such as in the North Sea. And because our esteemed political leaders have great deals of backbone, we can't do anything about this should the reins of power change hands. Therefore, we must drill in the North Sea if this current government says we're going to drill in the North Sea.
Just, fuck it all.
What about an alternative government? What would happen there?
I mean,
a provisional government formed by an uprising of the proletariat, maybe? That might get...
No, maybe more like the Labour Party.
David, surely, is that not the same thing? The Labour Party, famously in hoc to just stop oil?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's why they have my vote.
I must admit, I'm very much in favour of just stop Labour.
Yeah.
Well,
Starmer fucking was fully on board with the idea. Just like we'll keep all of these licenses that have been issued, but not because we want to, but because we respect the law and the rules, and that's important. So we won't be like this government. Fuck off. Love to boil the fuck alive just so that this guy can not get sued.
That's why they call him Mr. Drunk Driving, like fucking kills a cyclist cunt.
Yeah, he was driving a bike. He should have been riding a motorbike.
Yeah. Clearly some kind of lefty.
No, but it's great. Like, I think it's really important that, especially that whatever happens and whoever's in power, that like we honor the licenses to like emit like vastly more fossil fuels, all of which like desperately need to stay in the fucking ground, and that presumably so we can sell whatever comes out of the ground off to whoever buys at the high market price, which presumably won't be the UK because price cap and all of that. So sadly, we just had to basically enrich some shareholders, and there's nothing we can do about that because otherwise we would make the market sad. We can't have a sad market. That's please don't do that to me. If the line gets sad, we should all burn to death.
When China, who've actually been doing really impressive work on climate change, when China finally gets around to invading us to stop us doing all this climate bullshit that we're continuing to do, I'm fucking joining President Xi. Just like, yeah, fuck it, sure, why not?
I feel like I've been saying this for a long time. Imagine being in a country, very fucking flawed though it is, that can actually fucking build infrastructure of any sort. Like, I am merely going to install more solar capacity than the entirety of the US has ever installed in a single year.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, here's the thing. I don't, like, the political system of China and a lot of the cultural stuff in China is pretty fucked up. Like many places around the world are fucked up. But at least they're fucking doing the basics of civilization. And that's the bar. It's, can you do the basics of civilization? And the answer from Britain is a resounding no. The answer from the USA is, if you're rich. And everywhere else varies.
It's not just a no from Britain, it's what about China? Why aren't you protesting what China's doing? And it's like, China has built more than the totality of American solar infrastructure in a year.
They must be stopped.
It blows my mind that they're taking it seriously, and you get all this fucking concern trolling going, but China has more emissions than anyone else, and it's like, yeah, because we're an industrial hub of the world, which is also why they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, but if you look at, but then as soon as you start thinking about that, even for more than a second, you think, wait a minute, but they've not emitted more than, like, the entirety of, let's like say Britain's the Industrial Revolution, or America since the same sort of period. They've become an industrialized nation, in the last, 60 years, 70 years, whereas Britain has been churning gas into the atmosphere for 2 centuries, baby.
Why quit now? We're good at it. Don't talk Britain down.
Play toss.
Exactly. Are you saying we should quit while we're this far ahead, Alasdair? Come on.
Yeah, we want to take that 1.1 Celsius of global warming since the Industrial Revolution and make that a nice round 2.
Yeah, we can do it. I think it's you're doing Britain down, and quite frankly, I won't stand for it.
2 centigrade in 1 World Cup.
I like the idea of Britain attempting the buffer overflow approach to getting a new ice age. Let's do it, baby.
Damn, we accidentally went to 2.1. We've got to do 3 now. As a little aside to this wonderful little road we've gone down, so I've discovered that the BBC is capable of dispassionate reporting, but only when it's about the heat death of the planet.
Oh, great.
There's a nice little paragraph at the end of one of these articles that reads: "The world has already warmed by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the industrial era began, and temperatures will keep rising unless governments around the world make steep cuts to emissions." Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, was that double checked by the fake news division though? Because I want to make sure that I'm not being deceived at any point about this. Like, it could all be not true. It could be, and I presume it is the fault of some immigrants.
I mean, there's so like just to sort of expand on some of the effects that we are seeing. So in North America, Phoenix, Arizona reached 48 degrees in late July.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
yeah.
I mean, I was there last year in like April, May, and it was already like hot, but like that city's like nothing is capable of withstanding heat in like 48 degrees for any consistent period of time. But like that city really is not. Like, that's just baking into the void at that point. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, like at those sort of temperatures, you're looking at like wet bulb death levels of levels of heat.
They had like people falling down and then burning to death on the pavement.
Yeah. They had like second-degree burns from like the heat of the pavement. It was fucking
that
just
place does just seem
terrifying.
like a fucking bad idea conceptually. Like, it's always been like the ridiculously
Yeah,
hot part of America. It's like the frying pan of Babel. There's no fucking need to it. It's just there to defy God.
Build it and they will burn.
Like literally insert the quote from Peggy Hill about how Phoenix is in the front against God right here because it's evergreen.
It's like America's British people. You know? We've got Spain. They've got Arizona.
I found out.
Idiots, where you send all the idiots who just like love the heat. You know what I mean?
Imagine go to Arizona for a stag do.
I'm gonna lie here with no suntan oil on because I'm hard, and like when I start to dehydrate, I'm just gonna drink another 7 pints about it and glass of local.
So to round out our whistle-stop tour around how hot it is everywhere, Asia and Africa also facing horrendous temperatures. Tunis and Tunisia, they recorded 48.9 Celsius at the end of July. Part of Tokyo hit 38.9 Celsius plus subsequent torrential rain and landslides in northern Japan. That was was also sort of mid-late July that happened. And South Korea, had 1,000 buses to evacuate scouts from the World Jamboree of Scouts, which was beset by all kinds of disaster.
Yeah, but I don't trust the scouts. So that's all right.
That entire event was a disaster, like, from the very start. That time of year is about one of the worst times of year that you could go to fucking South Korea for something because of the weather that's already there. Like, they have a fucking rainy season. Like, they have much more extremes of weather than dumb dickheads for the UK would be used to. So, yeah, good job there, well planned.
I mean, that event in particular, I was reading a little bit about it, and I was like, this is just like a, well, there's your problem episode waiting to happen. Like, it just seemed that way, basically.
And yeah, that's about it for how hot it is everywhere except here.
I think I saw in just one addendum, I think I saw that in Iran, in Tehran and one other city, they literally like said everybody has to, like, they basically did like Corona stay home measures just to prevent
it was like
people
2 or 3
dying
days or something.
Yeah. I mean, and like that's under a blessed theocracy where they won't be like, I'm sorry it's 50 degrees, but you must come into the office because otherwise Alan Sugar is sad or some fucking bullshit like that.
You know, if it ever hit like 45, 50 degrees in this country, you just know that you'd still have to go into fucking work because there would be one maniac middle manager who thinks everyone would just go out to the pub for lunch or whatever and just have beers in the beer garden.
Nick Ferrari looking the exact same red color as his actual name, like screaming at people that they must go into the office. It'll just be like that.
It's like, do you remember when Jeremy Corbyn proposed that there be like sensible limits on temperature in the workplace that we should pass by legislation in order to make sure that...
That sounds like a fantasy.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I think you saw that on Game of Thrones. We're supposed to be a factual podcast about the real world. Thank you very much.
I love that utopian vision of Game of Thrones. Yeah, it must have been that.
Speaking of a utopian vision for the world, do we want to hear about what we're doing to combat all of this horrendous global temperature?
Well, let me just get my razor blades first.
Well, I've got a British Vault update for you.
Ooh,
Yes.
yes, gimme.
What was that noise?
Jamie, please send that to me.
So this is from The Guardian. The Australian company that was going to rescue the quote failed car battery firm end quote didn't make the final payment for its purchase.
Oh no! But they were so trustworthy. They had all those generals on board. They had the big generals. Folks.
Yeah, and those generals, I assumed, were rolled into the assets and general business, which were somehow valued at 8.57 million.
General Dynamics.
So yeah, the parent company of the company that is buying British Vault disputes that they are in default, and
no, we're not.
Yeah.
It's like comically turning out your wallet and that one moth flies out and just looking at your creditors going, no, I have money. Shut up. You're not my dad.
Turning up to court and going like, nah, like.
If they did go to court, I imagine it would have sounded something like this. The timing of the final instalment to the administrator is linked to a funding facility which, when closed, will also cover the cost of the land acquisition and provide additional working capital for the project. The financier is in direct contact with the counterparties, and we anticipate closing in August, following a period of significant due diligence.
Yes, that's a lot of words to say we have no money right now. It's not that hard to work. That's... I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that just means no money here. Womp womp.
Yeah, so the company that is buying British Vault, Recharge, their rescue deal revived hopes at the factory, which was tweeted out by Rishi Sunak. I don't know if any of you remembered that.
I do. Oh, bless him. Bless him and keep him.
Key to Britain's ambition to become a major player in electric vehicles. As though that could still be built.
Does Britain have an ambition to do that? Like,
because we said we did.
But I mean, like, why? What the fuck? Like, we do not have an ambition to be the lead. Like, what are we going to do with them? Build electric vehicles and just tip them directly into the fucking ocean? Like, how are the Tory party saying, oh yeah, we're going to be world leader in electric vehicles, look at all the environment stuff we're doing, when every single fucking like member of the Tory party and all of their voters would quite happily hang him from a lamppost for even daring to suggest that? Like, do you know what I mean? He's obviously saying that you're not allowed to leave, like, go more than like 100 meters from your house or they'll shoot you with snipers. Like, electric cars are the work of the devil. You want to be driving like a fucking, do you know what I mean? A steam engine to work every morning.
Look, Jamie, you might not believe in a little startup in British electrical automotives called British Vault, but you'll be pleased to know that Recharge, the company that's trying to buy them, is also a startup with little experience of battery manufacturing.
It's all just little guys helping each other out, and we support that very much. No, but Jamie, the real reason is
that's the question.
The real reason is these people, they do not give a flying fuck about the environment side, but they do give a fuck and presumably get money from the automotive industry, and the automotive industry knows the writings on the wall, and they need to have like local battery capacity, because otherwise why would you still have your actual factories in here? That's the reason. It is literally just like, we need parts to keep our capitalisms going. That's all.
There was a little spate of articles, I think, last week about, like, it was just utter fear-mongering about the perfidious Chinese electric cars and why you shouldn't buy one.
Oh, yeah, because otherwise Xi Jinping can see when I drive to the dogging site.
Yeah.
Just, I love the idea of it was also like they could switch our cars off. I just love the idea of Xi Jinping punishing Britain by disabling our dogging. That's like fantastic.
Yeah, well, what we need is good, upstanding private enterprise such as the buyer company's parent company, Scale Facilitation, having its Australian offices raided over tax fraud allegations.
What we need to do is defend against the Chinese turning our cars off by having 15-minute dogging sites.
Exactly. That's what Sadiq Khan should run on next. Like he would get all the votes of like horny Mavis everywhere.
You've fully cracked the issue with the 15-minute cities is that it's absolute anathema to a good dogging site to be within 15 minutes walk of a village.
Also, he said, like, wouldn't like an electric car sort of defeat the point of dogging? Because, like, you won't hear anybody coming. It's just like you can't just bang it in the back of the car, or you hear like behind you is like
Rob.
wee. You know, like it doesn't have that excitement.
Well, I'll tell you
I don't know,
what,
if you're into dogging and you're listening to this podcast, write in and say if that would ruin your joy.
Well, you could just do what that one swingers club somewhere in like I think it's like the north of England somewhere did, and have a room that is like dogging themed with like a 2001 Ford Fiesta in it.
Yep. I read about this. As far as I'm concerned, it's good on them. I'm glad we're all having fun.
Yeah, I'm just glad they're having a good time.
Yeah. Do they have solar panels on the roof there as well, made in perfidious China? So, like, Xi Jinping has his own private webcam that he's not paying for, the bastard.
Yeah, you make that swingers club sound like the Crystal Maze. Like, oh, your next fucking room is in the Ford Fiesta zone, and then you just run down a tunnel while music plays.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Jamie. I've never been to a swingers club, so I cannot verify whether it is indeed or not like the Crystal Maze. I do not know if Richo Hardy's going to be there.
Okay. Shall I pivot us very harshly into dog shit news that none of us will like?
Yes, I love dog shit news that no one
Sorry,
likes.
hang on.
I have an update on the activities of the Home Office.
Oh, good. Are they doing
wonderful,
something
yeah.
nice for people?
Very nice. They are providing accommodation, Rob. Very kindly.
Oh, are they? Oh,
providing
that's very kind
new
of them.
housing.
I like
Yes.
it when they do that.
Yeah.
Is
So
it a prison for all the
landlord's mad
perfidious
about this?
lawyers?
No, the landlords aren't mad about it because it means that they don't have brown people staying with them or even applying to stay with them because, white landlords hate that shit. This is the Bibby Stockholm barge.
Oh, that.
which
Well,
has
I've
been-
been assured that
which-
the people there have access to a ping pong table, so it's fine.
Yep. I've had a little look at what is available on this prison ship because it's not a prison ship by virtue of it not having its own fucking engine, but it's a fucking prison ship. That has been delivered in the last couple of weeks into Portland Harbour outside Weymouth and has now this week finally begun taking on political prisoners. There's no better way to describe them than that. So the barge it's a prison that floats. It's been previously used by Germany and the Netherlands, both for the exact same purpose. But the Netherlands stopped using it when they finally built some like stuff on land to detain people instead. But one of the reasons they actually bothered to do that was because Amnesty International got involved with the just god awful state of it.
Is that good?
Well, it's good now because they refurbed it, so it's fine.
Also, it's
Yeah,
not
like I said,
there's anymore.
Like I said, there's a ping pong table, and don't you worry your pretty little head about that big fire roaring out of control. It's fine. Just one more game, and then I'm sure somebody will come to save you.
Yep. So it initially only had space for 222, but they upped that to 506 with the miracle of bunk beds.
I thought you were going to say making everyone stand.
No, they've not got to that level of fucking space saving just yet. Obviously, 222 does not add up to 506 with bunk beds. That's because there are also some rooms that house 4 to 6 people. This is only going to be used to house single male asylum seekers.
Oh well, then that's fine. That's no problem. That's like a segregated prison. That's lovely. That's really nice for everybody.
Yeah, it's fine. None of these people necessarily know each other, but they will be sharing a space. But don't worry, they've got ensuite bathrooms, so it's fine.
So it's fine. Like this is just stuff. This is like 1 million buddy movies are made out of these scenarios. It's lovely and wonderful, and
Yeah, they made a point of the BBC did got invited on for a tour where they weren't allowed to see the bigger dormitories of 4 to 6 people. Those were off limits for reasons. But the
probably because they were too beautiful. Because they were just like so nice that if you saw them, you'd be like, "Well, I'm going to claim that I'm a migrant now," as people are, want to do.
Yeah, all the time they do it. Yeah, all the time. There's a TV room. Good news there. With a big screen.
Oh, that's lovely.
How big?
3 flat screens for asylum seekers, and a kick in the teeth for the honest white working class Britain.
There's also sofas there, so they can actually sit down to watch TV as well.
Sit down.
Sit. In my day, we were lucky if we could stand.
Yeah. Why I wasn't allowed to sit down at all. I had to pick oakum in my workhouse. It was great. We all loved it. That's what gave me the character. And now I go dogging. It's great. Why don't these immigrants do something useful?
In my day, you had to stand both ways uphill. So.
Yeah.
Other notable facilities they have is a classroom, which can also be used as a meeting room. So, they've got multifunctionality in mind. That's good
la-di-da.
them. I know, right?
I love to do my Zoom calls for work on the prison barge.
They've made sure to include multi-faith prayer rooms. Just doesn't matter. Just cram them in. It's fine. Doesn't matter what the differences are there. Don't worry about it. People that are being detained there are not being forced to stay on it. They've made a point of there's a couple of courtyards for exercise, etc., but they don't have to stay on it. They're allowed off. But they're all given ID cards and they have to check in and out, and they're not allowed to walk from the prison ship to the harbour gate. They need to take a shuttle bus, and they're also quote encouraged, not sure what that means, to use the hourly buses to local Portland or Weymouth. There isn't a curfew, but if they don't come back by 11 p.m, there will be a quote welfare call.
Yeah, so there is a curfew. Also, this thing, hang on, ID card. So this is basically like the Tony Blair jerk-off barge. Yeah.
Point.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also a airport baggage scanning machine and a metal detector at the entrance to it. So, presumably that will mean every single one of their possessions will get checked on entering and exiting every single time by lovely Home Office officials. And healthcare will be received either on the barge or remotely, quote, from a team of experts, whatever the fuck that means.
That means. Oh, wait. So this is not only is there the ID card crossover, this is also the private telehealthcare medicine crossover. This truly is the Tony Blair barge for change.
Yeah.
Now, if someone has a heart attack, instead of a doctor, they call one of those like fucking chiropractors that does like the benefits assessments.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. The dental hygienist will be along to assess your stroke shortly.
Honestly, dental hygienist sounds like a bit too much medical expertise for this shit.
Yeah.
They're in demand.
A dental hygienist is just someone that knows how to work a fucking toothbrush. It's not a real profession. Shut the fuck up. Kill all dentists.
Do we want to unpack that for a minute, David?
Much
like that tooth.
We're not revisiting the dentistry episode. It's not happening. I'll just get mad again. The whole reason that they've included that little bit in the article as well is because they tried to moor this in a bunch of places and the local councils all kicked up fuck about it, and eventually they got one where a lawyer told them, yeah, you probably can't fight this, it's going to get harboured there and that's all you can do about it. which means that the big concern of the locals would be that all the doctors will be so busy dealing with all of these migrants. That's unfair on us, and that's why they're all going to get Atos fucking health assessments.
Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, I've lost the will to try to be funny and lighthearted about this now.
No,
this is
it's just shit.
Honestly, we've moved from, prison camps to army prison camps to broken down army barracks where, we talked about on all the episodes where the conditions were already so horrendous to now a literal, prison. Quite frankly, and not even joking anymore, if they ever get this Rwanda thing properly off the ground, or Nauru, or Ascension Island, or whatever, fucking heinous thing the Home Office is planning now, they will literally be building concentration camps there, because it'll be out of sight. It's not even going to be fucking hyperbole anymore.
Look at what happened with Australia and their...
the Nauru
the exact thing that the British government has decided to copy wholesale. It was a fucking concentration camp.
I am once again
call it a concentration camp.
Yeah, that step's crucial.
I am once again on this podcast recommending that everyone read the book No Friend But the Mountains to understand the horror of Nauru.
Yeah, that was just fucked up and will be repeated because history is about not reading it.
Yeah, and and the nice thing is, I saw that fucking bald cunt Stephen Kinnock on the telly already saying oh yeah, actually we'll keep the barges, and it was for now until we can actually build some proper accommodations. You're not going to build that. You're going to be so fucking shit scared of the Daily Mail every living second of every living day that you're going to run for local re-election by putting 3 migrants in the stocks and then shooting them in the head on 24 hours before the elections, and you fucking well know it, you fucking quisling little shit. Fuck you.
The crucial point you're missing is that they wouldn't be doing that under duress.
Alasdair, goddamn.
Yeah. So, like I said, this came in a couple of weeks ago. On Monday, 15 people, voluntarily boarded the prison ship. Detention barge. There's no good words for it, so fuck it. I don't really know. But,
prison barge is literally something out of fucking Warhammer, etc. Your most dystopian fucking whatever your media of choice.
A fun little fact, there actually was a prison ship moored there until 2006, which was used as overflow for actual prisons. So, take that as you will. But,
and also people... let's not have a fucking examination of the state of British prisons in general, and assume that this is a downgrade from British prisons. That thing that literally every Home Office sub-minister who's in responsible for prisons takes 2 seconds of a look at and says, "Oh my god," and they gets a different job.
Yeah, it's the Northern Ireland of public service.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
prisons are the Northern Ireland of England. Interpret that how you will.
Yeah. So like I said, 15 people did board it on Monday, but 20 refused. The response to this has not been to frog march them onto it, which is, I suppose, some kind of positive step. But they've just decided that...
Genuinely surprised.
Well, it's fine. They've went for the passive cruelty instead, and they've said that they've issued a threat now to withdraw all housing assistance, which is unlikely to be illegal in the opinion of the Justice Secretary, which is great.
I like them odds.
Yeah.
You can't just force people to get on the boat if they don't want to. You've got to at least give all the worst cunts in the media a couple of days to write articles about how the government's a soft touch, and then you're allowed to march them onto the boat forcibly.
I mean, ultimately, this is just how fucking Western liberal democracy works. You're not forced to go to work, but if you don't, you are threatened with homelessness, hunger, starvation, etc., etc. It's we live in a free society. Asterisk.
Yeah,
you're free to die poor.
Yeah. If you ask one more question about coercion under capitalism, then I think maybe you need to spend some time on benefits.
The Justice Secretary Alex Chalk went on to say, what is perfectly legal is for the British people to say this is what we are offering, and it's not 4-star accommodation, but it is perfectly safe. It's perfectly decent, and it complies with the fire safety checks and goodness knows what.
That, spoken like a man who sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
It is sparse, and it is a bit austere, but frankly, that is not unreasonable. Okay. Cool.
Well, that makes me... Well, I mean, look, at least I'm very happy to learn that as part of this, crackdown on the luxuries and the fineries that, the fripperies these fucking migrants enjoy, is that they also, is that we're finally cracking down on all these suspicious lawyers who want to, like, assist them and give them aid like a bunch of fucking criminals.
Yes,
don't like that.
That is definitely, yeah. Suella Braverman set up a task force. We love a task force to clamp down on crooked immigration lawyers, because the Daily Mail ran some story about how for a fee someone would do like a false asylum claim or some shit, and because that's happened once, it now must be fucking endemic, and that's the only reason that lawyers could be taking on pro bono cases for asylum seekers. Definitely the only possible reason for that. Fuck off. Related to the Barge and stuff, famous cunt Lee Anderson MP.
Fuck that guy. Just the professional. Yeah. Just fuck that guy. Just the professional, like sort of a Daily Mail headline made flesh come to fucking annoy the shit out of me and like just brutalize people. Quite frankly, I hope.
Yeah. Every time I hear his name, I think, you know what we need is another.
Yeah, all I'll say is with fucking Lee Anderson is...
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're getting all the cut bits in at once. That's good. He did an interview with the Express and said that if people don't like it, they should simply fuck off back to France.
I like the way Nick Ferrari provided cover for this fucking prick when he paraphrased him on LBC. A clear off back to France.
For fuck's
different.
sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Reported to Ofcom for misleading reporting, prick. The Justice Secretary went on to back him on that, and then that escalated to a full backing from Number 10 as well. So that is where the official line sits on immigration. And just another little shitty cherry on the top, that mural that was painted over, the kids' murals in the Manston Detention Centre, the ones that were painted over, that apparently cost £1,500.
Money well spent.
Hooray!
Yep.
Money's not excellent.
Money's not real. Government spending doesn't matter, but the fact that they've went through the fucking effort and cost of that for the sake of these children are too happy. Fuck off. Fuck you. Abolish the Home Office as always.
I saw earlier that apparently this evil barge is intended to save the taxpayer £10 per person on the barge per day.
Whoa. Such saving.
Yeah.
That mural painting is paid for itself already.
Yeah, I mean, just think, like, we can get rid of, like, one mural every 150 migrants that we keep there every day. Think of the savings.
Wow. Man, like, we did this, I was worried about the national debt there for a moment, but I feel fine. This is great.
Yeah.
Backed it.
Excellent. And now everyone can stay in shitty city centre hotels again. Aren't you really glad that you can stay in, like, a really shit bit of a city centre now, in a hotel that you would never have gone into in the first place anyway? Because
that you hate anyway.
Yeah. Fuck it. I hate all of this. It's fucking dog shit. Alasdair, give us some good news.
Yeah, so we've just been talking about fascists doing typical evil fascist shit. Do we want to hear about Italian fascists surprising everyone by doing something great?
Yes.
I genuinely have no idea, so I am incredibly curious. Genuinely.
Only if you read it upside down.
Italy has passed a one-off 40% tax on the profits banks earned from higher interest rates in a shock move that has seen shares plummet to, quote, help mortgage holders and to cut taxes, like, very stupid reasoning, but still, like, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. and there's been lots of screaming and crying from Italian banks, and some of the bigger banks in like the EU as well. It's been very enjoyable. This article, another article from the BBC.
This is funny, but it's also very fucking bad because, like, it's not a good thing when the fascists do populist shit.
I was going to say I would like us to
for the future.
I would like us to not hand it to them. Basically, I think that's because at the same time, in the same breath, what these people are also doing at the moment is, if you're a lesbian couple and you have either, born your own children or adopted or whatever, they're taking one of the names off the birth certificate because there can only be one woman on the birth certificates. So,
Do not get me wrong, Italian fascists, follow your leaders. However, there is a lot of crying from big banks in this article, and it felt bad to let it just slip through my fingers.
Well, I mean, it's like, if you want to talk about, like, not handing it to fascists, the one thing you could observe about all this is, like, in Britain, yes, you still get the fascism, but you don't even get, like, I'm not even going to say the treats, you don't even get this, basically, is how I would phrase that.
I will simply enjoy the banks being sad, but yes, I would like to hear more about Line being sad and the banks being sadder.
Yes, I've got plenty of banks and lines being sad. So, Italian banks have said the tax on their profits will be substantially negative for the sector.
Good.
Briefcase wanker, I may be editorialising slightly, and equity research analyst at Citi, Azura Guelfi, said, we see this tax as substantially negative for banks, given both the impact on capital and profit, as well as the cost of equity of bank shares.
Yeah, good.
The
get it up,
shareholders.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, the poor shareholders. And do you want to know how much these some of these shares have gone down?
Please.
1 billion lira.
Hello, 1998. How are you doing? So, shares of the country's two largest banks, Intesa San Paolo and Unicredit, dropped by 8% and 6.5% respectively on Tuesday following the announcement. And this is among others, by the way. So there's quite a few other banks that had similar sort of drops in their share price, but also noted pieces of shit banks, Deutsche Bank and Crédit Agricole, both have lost quite a dip in their share price.
Good.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, if the share, like, the dips in the shares aren't that big, and like what I just kind of sort of generally assume out of all that is like that a lot of the sensible shareholders are already pricing in these kinds of windfall taxes. So like it's like if you did them, you wouldn't like collapse the market overnight, because I think like any serious institutional investors can be like, yeah, this is probably coming down the pipe. So like they'll sell off, but like they won't like collapse the banking system overnight over it.
Yeah, the system itself will be fine, but the shareholders will be sad, and honestly, that's enough for me.
So there's a bit more crying for you. The tax that Italy has levied on the excess profits that banks are perceived to be making, by the way, has come.
Did you editorialize that as well?
I did not. Has come as a surprise and is likely raising concerns that other countries could follow Italy's example, said Stuart Cole, chief macroeconomist at Equity Capital.
Not a real job.
Not a real job, no. Economists are wizards with even less power.
Yes.
Yeah. With like a faulty orb, basically.
So, sort of a mixed, another bittersweet outcome is that Hungary and Spain have done similar things, and other countries are also not just doing one-off taxes. They're sort of who was it? It was Estonia is increasing their tax on banks by like 4%. So some like small nuggets of goodness in amongst all the shit.
Hungary's, is that Orban?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's fascist doing shit again. That's okay.
Yeah.
Less good, but okay.
Spain,
though.
However,
yes, that's good. That's good. Because was it Spain or Portugal had the good election result recently?
They had the good election results recently, where the Vox fucking psychos didn't get as far as Yeah.
Yeah, where they shamefully turned to Stalinism. That was what I heard.
Oh, if only.
Have you been on the GB News again, Jamie?
Comment or
No, I ran it-
commentary does this to a motherfucker.
Sat behind Paul Mason on the bus. The bus to
fucker doesn't get on
electoral
a bus.
success.
Is it dragging his caravan behind it, or?
Well, what if I told you all that electoral success is an illusion, just a sham?
Okay,
Because
I agree.
there's no
Electoralism
real
is
democracy.
stupid, and the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
power comes from the barrel of a gun.
Yeah. What if I told you that democracy in itself in Britain was a complete sham, and that Mr. Alasdair Heath in the Telegraph has words
Oh,
to
we're
say
back
about
to
it?
this fucking fantasist cunt
Ow.
again.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Let's strap in and go for it.
Am I allowed to
He's-
play video games while you're reading this?
No.
No.
Britain is now an elite dictatorship where majority opinions are crushed.
Oh, fuck
Suck
off,
my
Matthew Goodwin.
Fucking wang.
You know, it's going to be a good one when the first, like, not even full sentence, just elicits disgust.
That's the headline. The subheading is start listening to the
Fucking dick
voters.
headline.
Start listening to the voters on cars, crime, and wokery, or there will be an uprising even bigger than Brexit.
Start hitting the voters with cars. Quite frankly.
What are they gonna? Never mind.
Oh no!
Never
Is
mind.
the 15-minute city making it illegal to walk too far away from your Brexit? Is that what the problem is here?
Britain's deranged war on cars, our looming ban on gas boilers, the debanking scandal,
Oh,
the
for
failure
fuck's
to
sake.
prosecute crime, the
Debanking
attempted
scandal. The definition of a storm in a fucking teacup. Jesus Christ.
Finally, him and Aaron
The
Bastani have
world's
common
least
ground.
serious cunt.
The failure to prosecute crime, the attempted cancellation of women, the sabotage of the
yeah, of
Brexit
course.
Fuck you.
agenda, the scale
Fuck you.
the scale of...
Do you reckon?
Oh,
Do you
God.
reckon one day we're going to wake up and all the women are going to be gone, raptured, and that's what we're going to call it?
I think it's more like cancelling your subscription. Just like, no, sorry, $10.99 a month for the existence of women as a concept is too much.
It's like Why the Last Man, but it's only Alasdair Heath that's left, and he still can't get laid.
Well, definitionally.
Continuing on his little list here and finalising it, the scale of migration. Welcome to anti-democratic Britain, where the beleaguered majority is increasingly subject to the whims of an entitled, activist elite that often seems to despise the people over which it exercises so much power.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
lovely
found
when
it-
the enemy is within. That's great, and that can only lead to good things.
I found a £2 coin under the car seat the other day, and I will. It's a shiny new £2 coin, and I will give it to anyone who
behaves entirely legally.
put them out of my goddamn misery.
Man, it's been ages since I've seen a £2 coin. Maybe I'll have to take you up on that.
All the policies listed above share a devastating commonality. They are deeply
made them up?
unpopular.
Yeah, none of them are real. They're just ghosts in his fucking head.
They are deeply unpopular and would be crushed in a referendum after a fair campaign were the politicians courageous enough to grant the public a say. Parenthesis, in the case of Brexit, they did, of course, and continue to this day to resist implementing the revolutionary change implied by the vote.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, was there a little red book associated with the fucking Brexit referendum, or did I miss a clue somewhere?
We had the Brexit referendum. We left the hated EU. His dick still doesn't work. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, let 1,000 Brexits bloom.
In a truly majoritarian society,
Oh,
One will.
fuck off.
one where the demos actually exercised Kratos, no form of crime.
Go suck a dick, you fucking...
I would very much like Kratos to come and exercise this fucking dickhead. Like, I can think of several cutscenes I'd like to see play out. Please.
No form of crime would be tolerated, and certainly not burglaries or muggings.
What a
You know,
dipshit.
it's so fucking funny when
Rome didn't have
left-wing-
criminals, fuckwit.
Being left wing, you get told that your like modest requests for society are just completely unworkable impossibilities, and then you're up against this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get told that. For fuck. Ah. I mean, again, just to go briefly back to what we were talking about as does regard the Home Office. Once again, this is just like this, it's just you have to do this because, this is just the will of the Volk shit as interpreted by, fucking Ernst Röhm the Younger. It's not serious and he should go fuck himself.
Yep.
But it is also fucking
nobody-
fascism.
Yeah. Nobody would dare to indoctrinate school children with extreme trans ideology. And the
Yeah, we
Green
can only do
Agenda-
that with British ideology.
Yeah. And the Green Agenda would be centred around urgent technological innovation rather than seeking to prevent working people from flying to holidays in the sun.
I mean,
At
like,
what
just,
point
just
does
arguing,
he imagine the government has done anything like that?
Just like, I mean, it's just total straw manning, right? Like, there is no, like, I mean, like, if you are going to say, like, okay, we're going to do something about all the people taking fucking planes, you're going to start with the ones that do the most harm versus the number of, or like, the most, versus the amount of utility they provide. So you're going to start with the fucking private jets. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, just day one, that's what you do. But no, all that means is you can't get a fucking flight from London Luton all the way to 5,000 degree Benidorm, lest you like miss that stag do that you absolutely cannot miss.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so this is all the stuff that, very broadly speaking, that we would very much like to see. Like forced feminization for all men, illegal immigrants in every street getting your personal television. This is all the stuff that we really want. And if we really were this powerful, we would be able to do it. This podcast could, we would be the command and control center of the British economy.
I feel like I would have enacted some sweeping totalitarian changes to punish the rich by now, if I had this much power.
Yeah.
But alas, I do not. He goes on, yet we live in a very different political reality. One in which...
Yes, I mean, in an absolute sense, we do.
Yeah, one in which public opinion is flagrantly disregarded whenever it doesn't align with the views of the ruling class.
Oh man, I hate when...
Westminster.
But
when they're right for the
right,
wrong
okay,
reason.
so there are such things as checks and balances in what is nominally a democratic system to make sure that when the majority gets a little bit out of hand and starts to want to shoot down migrant boats or whatever the fuck is going to be in Labour's next manifesto, that there are some checks on it to make sure that their bloodlust, as desired by fucking people like Alasdair, is not actually acted upon. There's a reason these systems are designed this way. Because otherwise it might be populism. And that's also bad. Hi, welcome to my James O'Brien talk show. Fuck you.
Have you considered, though, that Westminster has become cartelised?
No, I haven't considered anything like that.
I have not.
And
I have.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to, purely out of fucking spite.
I think I agree with JB. We should do more of that.
The large parties are committed to an unrealistic dash to net zero. Okay.
Are they,
I mean,
though?
I suppose-
Are they really?
Unrealistic in the sense that they're going to do nothing and people are going to just die because of it, so that's cool.
Yeah. Refuse to discuss the gargantuan cost involved and omit to mention that Britain's carbon emissions are about 3% of China's.
They never talk about anything but the costs. That's literally all these losers talk about all the live long fucking day. Every single last fucking one of them. Oh, for
On the
God's
great
sake.
subjects of our time, family policy, the size of the state, the NHS and even planning rules, there is little difference between Tory, Labour and Lib Dem MPs disenfranchising millions. Again, correct
Just
for the wrong
say
reasons.
you want 14 words. It would be more enchanting if you did that. Just fucking, say what it is you come here to do. Just fucking click your little heels together and, hang upside down from a lamppost.
Yeah. The intellectual conformity is stultifying and has been reinforced by the emergence of an all-powerful blob, the nexus of Mandarin's policy advisors, quangocrats, and other government agents.
Oh no, the Quango Mandarin blob.
Yeah.
Where are the... All right, what's the... I'm having a stroke, I think. I think I smell toast and my left arm is tingling.
Listen,
no.
You're not allowed
Stroke and a
to
heart
say...
attack, that's a bad day.
You're not allowed to say Judeo-Bolshevism, so you need to use more words to say the same thing.
Yeah, otherwise it's just impolite.
A class of public servants who don't really like the public and are increasingly convinced that they have a constitutional duty to constrain and contain elected politicians. They are experts at delay, prevarication and lawfare, and are cheered on by the left-wing activists who have taken over the legal profession, our cultural institutions, academia, charities, and even many big companies.
It really is, just so...
Any big companies.
So fucking damning of this entire country that, the most centrist, moderate in, I suppose, the actual sense of the word, rather than the gnashing teeth centrists that write for The Guardian, for example, who live within, all these institutions that this guy has, just lambasted with the same brush, saying that they're all left-wing. This is how I fucking I hate liberals for letting us get into this fucking position in the first place, but it's still just annoying to see this.
This is straight up just fascist fucking rhetoric. This is fully exactly what you would see in fucking Nazi Germany, except he's replaced Jewish people with degrees.
Oh shit, he has, yeah. Fucking hell.
First classes, now degrees.
Thus, even in the rare instances when the Tories attempt to think the unthinkable and respond to public opinion, as with the Channel crossings, the system does its best to block any change, empowered by quasi-constitutional legislation such as the Equality Act, the Climate Change Act, and our membership of the ECHR.
Yeah, this is just fascism. This I don't really have any other expression for this. This is just the will of the people must be obeyed at all.
Yeah,
fuck you.
I promise you though, it will get dumb enough for you to laugh at it.
Oh, okay, good. Because I want right now I want to kill.
I was going to say, because right now I'm fantasizing about
presenting
this guy with a fork. So get a shift on.
The upshot, I didn't write this, he did. The upshot is an extraordinary disempowerment of the electorate. Is it any wonder that some voters fear we risk becoming a democracy in name only? Take the absurd war...
how awful it would be if that happened.
Take the absurd war on cars. A tiny minority of activists, council planners, devolved administrations and ministers are seeking to discourage the mode of transport that the vast majority of the population relies on. Why do we rely on it, Alasdair?
I don't know.
Or consider immigration, which is a lot higher than the public would like. All potential solutions to reduce numbers while preserving the economy are lambasted as gimmicks, meaningless, or self-evidently stupid. The Tories have promised to cut numbers in every single one of their manifestos since at least the 90s, and yet aren't even pretending to try any longer. How does this not disastrously undermine trust in politicians? Until recently, all parts of British society bought into the democratic ethos developed after the great voting reforms of the 19th and 20th century, or at least paid lip service to it. It was deemed snobbish to dismiss the views of ordinary voters out of hand, and borderline insane to seek to reverse the expansion of the consumer society.
Well, remind me briefly, just out of curiosity, and so like the brain fluid can stop leaking out of my ear for a second. What were the majorities again for like nationalizing rail, nationalizing water, nationalizing energy? Like there are massive, even among Tories, I think those are like pluralities, like 60% or something. Is that also the demos we must be obeying, or is there some kind of is there a mystery that means that we're not allowed to do these things? Might be just spitballing.
No, that's activists who've infiltrated YouGov. That's what that is.
Okay.
I mean, it is funny when you think that there was that guy who basically admitted to like suppressing voting polling for Corbyn in, was it 2017? Yeah. It's awesome. Like, oh my god, there's all these lefties infiltrating all the institutions. It's like, bro, come on.
No, you simply asked questions and people gave you answers you didn't like. That consensus, already left fragile by the Blairite legal revolution and his massive increase in the number of university graduates, was finally shattered after the 2016 Brexit referendum.
So for the next voting round, do we all have to turn up in a white van covered in Britain First stickers? Is that the only way I'm going to get to vote in the next election? Well, I mean, not me, because obviously.
Idea, yeah. Most of our institutions,
unless your passport has the red wall as your place of birth, yes.
Yeah, I forgot my ID. Oh no, don't worry about it. We can see you're wearing paint-covered trackies. You can come in. Most of our institutions...
Joke's on them, this is jizz.
Yeah, I mean, but that's basically dogging ID, Jamie. That's also very much allowed. That's very much a valid ID.
Most of our institutions are now controlled by a pseudo-meritocratic elite, convinced that only it can prevent the masses from reverting to ignorance, racism, and prejudice.
Only it could.
This guy is absolutely a victim of one family Christmas dinner where they just fucking told him what they think of him, isn't he?
Yeah, to which I can only say to Alasdair's family members, please provide us with his home address. Thank you.
Our new ruling class is paternalistic, messianic even. In a post-religious age, it has taken on the role of priest and saviour of the common people. It still occasionally feels the need to legitimise unpopular ideas by pretending that they garner majority support. Hence all the polls proving that people support net zero.
Wait, but how is this the YouGov conspiracy again? Because for 5 seconds ago, I was told that the will of the demos was, should supersede all, but not. Never mind. Why have intellectual consistency where you could just be a drooling moron for money?
Yeah. Yet, when asked to pay the price in terms of actual cash or drastically reduced convenience, the public immediately rebels.
Yes,
there was a time...
Because cunts like you don't give them any alternative. It's not like, all right, you might have to give up your car, but look at this giant fucking public, infrastructure we've built that can take you places. It's just you just say, give us your car, you fucking cunt, and then everybody pisses off and says, well, how you get to work now or how you get to the big Tesco? Well, I don't know, that's not your problem. Have you considered an Uber?
Have we tried like innovative future technologies that could solve the transport problems?
Probably not.
Or are they just for carbon capture? I just want to live in the Star Trek future where British people refuse to get in the teleporter with a poor person.
There was a time when we worried rightly that the tyranny of the majority was the main threat to freedom and prosperity. Today,
was there a time? Was there?
When was that time?
He doesn't say. Today, it is the tyranny of the minority that poses the greatest
danger. Let's just assume that it was last Thursday then.
Our new task is to prevent the majority from being oppressed. How do we stop the capture of every institution by the radical left?
Every single. I'm glad to hear that.
Build a fence around it.
I'm glad to hear that we're in the final sprint of our long march through the institutions. Why look at all this power we have.
Yeah, I feel like I've missed a memo at some point. I should be somewhere else at the moment. How do we make Parliament more representative and reduce the power of the blob? One answer would be to use a lot more referenda, as the Swiss do.
Oh boy, direct democracy, baby.
Jesus
Love
fucking
it.
Christ.
It's Rob's specialist area. Let's go, Rob.
Oh, these people don't fucking understand. I can't be asked. It's just, this is too stupid. Just, for one, yes, Swiss referenda are relatively stupid, but for two, this, for all its flaws and its massive racism, is a high-functioning society where shit works. And that's, you know...
Oh, well, I don't like the sound of that.
No, you...
That sounds European and gay.
Another would be radical reform of the civil service, turning ministers into CEOs with proper control over mandarins.
Fuck's sake! I hate this. I hate everything. Every time, like, a public servant gets renamed to some fucking private sector insane title like CEO. Why is there a CEO of the NHS or CEOs? Apparently, I have.
They have them
of the NHS.
That's like the last reform we did. Like, we built all these, you know, local NHS trusts or clinical care units or whatever the fuck we call them these days. And, like, we made them like little market units. And, you know, last time I checked, that's made the NHS a lot better. Please don't inform me otherwise.
Definitely. Definitely the most egregious, though, is the fact that patients being referred to as customers is one that irks me to, like, a horrendous degree.
Yeah. What if you appointed a CFO to the DWP?
I have a friend, right? It's fucking horrendous, and his job is actually like a customer satisfaction manager for like a regional hospital, and it's just like the most pervert ass job I've ever heard of. And he keeps doing like surveys and pretending that's a serious job. It's really fucking grim.
Yeah.
Bet he gets paid more than nurses.
Oh, way more.
Good. Cool. Functional fucking system. I'm well aware that the majority can have bad or evil ideas or vote for maniacs.
Oh, okay, so there might be a few issues here and there, hither and thither.
Yeah. We need to retain, and in some cases further develop, protections against majoritarian abuses, even if some of the current ones are no longer fit for purpose or have been hijacked.
Is Alasdair Heath about to come out in favour of proportional representation?
No, I mean, this whole article is basically just like we should do what like the majority say, as long as the majority agree with me, and that's a valid excuse. Otherwise, we should say they're dangerous extremists and put them to the sword or similar.
The system should be exactly as it has always been, except I should get the things I want from it. That's all he's saying. That's all this is. Elites have helped drive much good social change in recent decades, including by fighting racism and prejudice against all sorts of minorities. But
can I get a quick list of which of those the minorities are that is good?
Do you know, I am not going to ask Alasdair Heath for a list of minorities. I feel like it's something that would not be readable.
Oh, he probably has one already anyway.
Who doesn't want to hear distressingly archaic slurs?
But the pendulum has swung too far away from majoritarian rule and too much power handed to social engineers. Today, the problem doesn't lie with the public, which is largely tolerant and liberal conservative, but with the elites, who have become authoritarian and anti-democratic, captured by wokery and a dislike of material aspiration. What we call populism in the current British context is really the majority trying to reassert itself. Voters are developing a new form of class consciousness. Motorists are becoming a political force.
Oh my fucking god. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, there it is.
For one, I will slap the words class consciousness out of your fucking mouth, Alasdair Heath. Jesus. Oh. You can't be fucking serious. This is real. This is like the advanced guard, the armed cadres of fucking Top Gear are coming for us. Yeah, no, of course. Why not?
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson at the front of the wedge formation of BMWs.
Listen, without motorists, we wouldn't have car parks to kick fuck at them in. So who can say if they're bad or not?
And also no dogging. So I think that tips the balance.
The ULEZ fiasco is acting as a gateway, normalising opposition.
A thing most people who actually have to fucking live in London support. Wow.
Actually, it's normalising opposition to other excesses. The message.
What does that fucking mean?
Gamers rise up.
The message to politicians is clear. Start listening to the voters again, or else Britain will soon face a popular uprising orders of magnitude greater and more unpredictable than Brexit. Related topics tags: ULEZ, net zero, woke, Brexit.
This is a brief little reminder. This guy is still, I think, the last, holdout in the bunker, even after Hitler's blown his brain out for the Liz Truss government. So that's what this is.
Well, imagine being the guy that the highest ranking guy that didn't get offered one of the pills in the bunker.
Yeah.
There are 4,681 comments on this fucking article.
Closed after 5,000 for.
Did they work out whether Wario was a libertarian in the end?
I have not ventured into them for fear of doing myself fucking harm. I've just scrolled down and just seen the words Communist Party, so you can tell they're having a normal one on the Telegraph website, which is great. So yeah, that was the article read we had. It was dog shit. This guy just keeps. I might need to fucking ban myself from this guy's articles in the way that I kind of have with Brendan O'Neill's as well. It's too predictable, some of the shit he's going to say. Although he's definitely getting closer to the line of just, saying what he really thinks. So,
I mean, if this is the line before he says what he really thinks, I'd be, I'm sure the next line is what in technical terms would be a manifesto, I guess.
So that'll do that. Jamie, you prepped us some other horrors, didn't you?
Yeah. I was having a bit of trouble with paywalls, but the fucking Internet Archive just keeps going down. So rip. I did get some though, so we're not going without. Yeah.
Hooray!
Right. Buckle up, because this is high octane stuff from the jump. The absence of yeast is why, during the great yeast shortage of lockdown 2020 when bakeries were closed, sourdough became so popular. People began making it at home, and holiday and restaurant pics on Instagram were replaced with ugly, cracked loaves of home-baked bread. It has its place, brackets, in my house, the bin, but not in every restaurant, sandwich bar or bakery shelf. Remember the days when appropriate bread would adorn the table? An oily focaccia studded with rosemary to accompany Italian fare, or a crisp baguette for French cuisine?
Remember when the bread weren't hard?
There were an estimated 315 varieties of bread in Spain, but guess what I was offered in every restaurant and hotel I visited during a recent visit to Barcelona? In a Greek cafe recently, I asked for a slice of what is known as country bread made with semolina, flour, honey, sesame seeds and olive oil. The waiter told me they are constantly asked for sourdough. Comment or commentariat?
Commentariat.
Comment, Guardian.
I feel like this might be a article in the Times.
Oh man, this is incredible. This is a Telegraph. Commentariat.
It was Julie Bindle in The Spectator. Just say no to sourdough.
Jesus Christ.
What I love
If
about
she's
that
writing
is,
about fucking sourdough, then she's not writing about other stuff. So fine.
Yeah.
What I love about that though is the little fucking bit at the anecdote at the end about the Greek cafe. It doesn't even say that they had to give her sourdough. The waiter just told her they were constantly asked for it. Like she probably got the fucking like semolina bread or whatever the fuck she wanted. But like, you know what I mean? Oh, the waiter mentioned sourdough, and that was bad enough, quite frankly. The horrors I have witnessed. After enduring 6 years of being treated as guilty until proven innocent, I hope he sues House of Cards and those who cancelled him for millions.
Uh-oh.
The people who made the false charges against him should be in prison. I am not saying this because I am a Kevin Spacey fan, but because we all need to live with the basic legal right of being presumed innocent until proven guilty. Otherwise, our entire justice system falls apart, and any one of us can be wrongfully accused of anything and cancelled. Comment or commentary?
Prince Andrew writing in the Times.
That is stupid enough that it has to be commentary at. Like just the fucking principle that because someone was found innocent means that the case shouldn't have been brought is so fundamentally idiotic that I can't think of, like, it takes a private education to be this stupid.
I'm gonna break with this, and I'm gonna say comment.
Yeah, commentariat from me.
That was a comment on Piers Morgan Uncensored. And as a bonus treat, I've got the first reply to this as well, which was his best friend Jeffrey Epstein should give him a job. Technology has exacerbated our national enervation. We have become charging stations for our smartphones, which drain psychic energy with insistent distractions and overloads of information babble. Video calls and work from home limit in-person interactions with actual existing individuals who would otherwise be together for most of their weekly waking hours. Targeted advertising, fine-tuned algorithms, and politically stratified social media sharply decrease our exposure to new ideas. We are immuring ourselves within our own private caves, watching flickering images in darkness. AI language learning models offer a cautionary parable of these larger cultural developments. Programs such as ChatGPT, whose writing remains formulaic and prone to errors, learn by sifting through a sea of digitalized text, a growing share of which consists of AI-generated content. The predictable result of this feedback loop is the kind of leveling we've seen across our institutions. Like newspapers that drink their own ink, and which ones don't these days, their product can only get worse. Cultural exhaustion, social withdrawal, and the general enfeeblement of life forces are the practical expression of a will to nothing. There is a name for this spiritual and intellectual condition, and it is nihilism. Nihilism is demonic to the extent that the will to nothing is still a will, a life force. That it is only a negative one is by no means reassuring, because it is easier and more economical to tear down than to build up. Destruction is dramatic and accomplishes the illusions of vitality with relatively little energy. And who in this apocalyptic time, including the nihilist, doesn't want to feel even a little alive? Comment or commentariat?
Commentariat, but you stop just before the Etsy link to where they sell the jack-off crystals.
This is like Brendan O'Neill going Super Saiyan. This is incredible. I'm gonna say comment. I'm gonna live in, I don't know, not even hope, but yeah.
That was Jacob Howland in Unheard. America is now a zombie state.
Oh, they do be on their phones.
Just any old piss will do. Like, why not?
All right, final one. So what has a lack of cleanliness got to do with hostage incidents? Plenty. Both of these jails are now assessed by the prison service as of serious concern, which really does mean the wheels have fallen off. These are places locking up huge numbers of Islamist terrorists who have had their divine mission interrupted by the police and the security services. They have all day and every day to observe routines, profile staff, and exploit weaknesses. From their point of view, hostage-taking is a rational, even religiously mandated duty to complete their jihad. Reporting to the government, I was seriously concerned at the lack of capacity to deal with this threat in 2016. Inevitably, in HMP Whitemoor in 2020, 2 religiously inspired Islamists took an officer hostage armed with weapons and dressed in fake suicide belts. They were later convicted of attempted murder in connection with terrorism. I am still unconvinced. I am still unconvinced that my recommendations on this specific issue have been adopted. If 2 of our highest security prisons holding some of the greatest national security risks in Western Europe can't even get the bins emptied, they are unlikely to be on top of much more serious security issues. Comment or commentary?
Wow.
Wow.
Commentariat.
Yeah, I think
That's-
commentariat, but purely because of the way that started.
That's really
okay.
incredible.
I'm going to say comment. Fuck it.
I'm going to say David Blunkett writing in something.
That was
Mein
Ian
Kampf.
Aikson in The Spectator. What the stabbing of Ian Watkins says about our prisons.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That the prison
God.
bin men aren't hard enough, that's what it says.
Fucking hell. I think I'm going to just fucking, like, divest myself of this task and just give it to you from now on.
You're very good at it, Jamie, and it
Yeah, you're
scares me.
frighteningly good at this. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's nice to have a talent, isn't it?
Not when it's comment or commentary at mate. Oh, so yeah, I think that'll fucking do us quite nicely there. I say nicely, it wasn't nice at all, but never mind. So yeah, we will be back with another episode next week. There will be a bonus episode to come out at some point this month. I say a bonus, a premium episode. There will also be another episode of the Andor Cultural Committee releasing at some point as an extra on the free feed, so look forward to that. And twitch.tv/praxiscast for streams on Wednesday and Thursday evenings, and praxiscast.tmail.com for merch, and you can get those bonus episodes at Patreon, which is patreon.com/praxiscast. And we will see you all on the next episode.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Video.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.